Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Arlington Weekly News. I'm Craig Nolan. Thanks for joining us.
And I'm Daniel Pineda.
My name's Adele Quo.
And here we go at another show. What a great lineup. Our news and CBB stuff. And right in the middle of that is Adele Quo. And
It's easy being green.
Don't miss that. Then Rich and his reviews.
Absolutely.
We'll wrap it up with news for seniors. And then our final wrap-up will be Rich and his interview with Mary David. So stay tuned for that. But before we begin, here's a reminder.
Well, that's right, Craig. Arlington Weekly News is available at www.youtube.com/Arlington Weekly News and the number 1, and also on Facebook, facebook.com/Arlington Weekly News. So visit us on the
Facebook
social
and
networks.
YouTube.
Facebook.
We're out there.
Yes.
We
Check
need
us
to be
out.
on Twitter.
Yeah, on Twitter, absolutely.
Be careful
Mary?
what you wish for. Here we go.
Yeah.
With the first of our news items. Well, it's happened again. More than $600,000 worth of Rolex watches was stolen during a smash and grab robbery at Pentagon City. It happened just before 10:40 in the morning on Tuesday. The suspects were 4 men wearing hoods and gloves who used a hammer to break a display case at the Tourneau watch store. And on February 4th, masked men also robbed Zales Jewelers in Pentagon City in another smash and grab. Police haven't yet commented on whether the two crimes are related. Daniel.
Well, in an effort to close the budget gap, Arlington County officials have proposed eliminating a child care ordinance, and the county's current child care standards far exceed state requirements. If they are dropped, the county will revert to Virginia state child care standards. Changes would include ending county safety inspections, terminating training requirements for child care providers, and leaving an estimated 1,000 children in unregulated care for the first time in 40 years. Child Care Aware of America, a national advocacy group, rated Virginia state standards as badly lacking. They gave an F on their safety standards and qualifications for family home care providers. And they gave a D for Virginia's out-of-home child care facility standards. Craig.
All right, Daniel. Well, there's a new bus stop on the corner of Columbia Pike and Walter Reed Drive that cost more than $1 million to build. The Walter Reed Super Stop, as it's being called, includes shelter for about 15 bus riders. It also has lighting, an electronic display for bus arrivals and departure times. Similar stops are expected to pop up later this year near Penrose Square and at Columbus and Dinwiddie Streets. So look out, there's more million-dollar bus stops on the way, so they say. Daniel.
Well, the county board voted on Saturday to approve a controversial use permit. The permit will allow the county and the Arlington Street People's Assistance Network to run a year-round homeless shelter. The shelter will be at 2012 14th Street North, across the street from the Arlington County Police Headquarters and 2 blocks from the existing emergency winter shelter. The emergency winter shelter closes from April the 1st to October the 31st, and some nearby condominium residents are concerned about safety. According to the sheriff's staff, safety has not been a problem in all of the years that the existing emergency shelter has been in operation.
All right, some information now on the Wilson School. County Manager Barbara Donnellan is working out the details of a public engagement process to discuss possible ideas and uses for the Wilson School building and its grounds. In February, speakers at the county board meeting criticized the lack of a public process, voicing concern that the building and open space might be turned over to developers. Donnellan told county board members that by April she will have a game plan for the public process on the Roslyn site. So we'll get you more information on that as it becomes available. Daniel.
This morning, Governor Bob McDonnell and the State Board of Education announced that 8 Arlington schools have earned 2013 Virginia Index of Performance, or VIP, awards for advanced learning and achievement. The awards are based on student achievement and other performance indicators during the 2011-12 school year. The VIP awards were created by the Board of Education in 2007 and recognize schools that exceed minimum state and federal accountability standards and achieve excellent goals established by the governor and the board.
And that's good news.
That's great
Here's
news.
some more good news. Karina Coronel, principal of Carlin Springs Elementary School, has been named 2013 Arlington Public Schools Principal of the Year. Colonel, I'm not sure, Coronel, I'm sorry, has been principal at Carlin Springs for 8 years.
Wow.
She earned her bachelor's degree in early childhood and elementary education and special ed, a master's degree in special ed from American University, and a second master's in education leadership from George Mason University. Karoma began her career as a special ed teacher and served as an assistant principal at Jamestown Elementary. Congratulations.
Congratulations, absolutely.
Good
and
job.
Key Elementary School's 4th grade English teacher has been named the 2013 Arlington Public Schools Teacher of the Year. Erica Russell has a bachelor's degree in elementary education from Andrews University and is working on a master's in education from the American College of Education. Russell began her career with Volunteer Reach International in Honduras, where she helped to set up and manage a daycare facility for inner-city children. She has also helped develop programs for health awareness and early childhood development. Before joining Key Elementary in 2006, Russell taught math in Michigan.
All right. Kudos to those Principal and Teacher of the Year awards. We have more good news from schools around Arlington. Wakefield High School, its academic team, has won their competition and will now advance to the playoff match. The televised academic competition aired this past Saturday, March 16th. Congratulations to those brainiacs over there at Wakefield. Nice job. Way to go. All right, well, Daniel and I will be back with our CBB Community Bulletin Board file after we hear from Adele and
It's Easy Being Green.
It's easy being green.
Hello, welcome. It's Easy Being Green, and my name's Adele Quo. Let's stop the volcano mulch madness this March. Mulch can be a tree's best friend, but improper mulching causes detrimental effects. The proper steps to take when applying mulch to your trees was recently brought to my attention by my friend and Arlington tree steward, Lucy Spencer. She is determined to educate her neighbors as the correct way to mulch your trees. First, and most important, do not use volcano mulching techniques. Regrettably, it's all too common. The experts have been railing against mulch volcanoes for decades. Mulch volcanoes stress and kill trees in so many ways. Still, landscape companies practice this dubious art form on apartment grounds and commercial parks. So when homeowners see them fashioning the mulch volcanoes, they follow what they assume to be a good practice. You know the saying, monkey see, monkey do. Over-mulching has become a national obsession. Landscape maintenance companies that aren't aware of these good practices, or commercial and residential owners who think that they're following good practices, lay on an estimated 40 million cubic yards of mulch per year. That's almost enough mulch to encircle the globe. Properly mulching is one of the most valuable things a homeowner can do to improve your tree's health and appearance. The general rule is to mulch wide and out, but definitely not up. Follow these easy steps when adding mulch around your tree. Pour organic mulch such as leaves, compost mixes, wood chips, or bark pieces 2 to 4 inches deep within a donut-shaped ring. The ring should extend out to the tree's drip line if possible. The wider the mulch ring, the greater the benefit. Do not pile that mulch against the tree trunk. Make sure that your mulch is pulled back several inches from the trunk so the base of the trunk and the root crown are exposed. If mulch is already present, check the depth. Do not add more if a sufficient layer of 2 to 4 inches is already in place. Rake your old mulch to break up the matted layers and to improve its appearance. But please, stop the volcano mulch madness. Remember, it's easy being green if you mulch your trees properly this spring. It would help your neighbors if you told them the best mulching practices also. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Adele. And great graphic, by the way.
Oh,
we always
thanks.
like that jingle.
Good
glad you
information,
liked it.
Adele, and
Absolutely.
welcome back from your vacation hiatus.
Welcome back.
Well, thank you. It's
Looks
good
like
to be
you had
back.
some fun, got some sun, some fun in the sun.
I was someplace warm.
And the volcano mulching is the shape of the mulch, not
That's
the
right.
material.
Nice
knew?
wide rings rather than those piles that you
Right.
see everywhere.
And root crown and drip line, some really nice technical terms you're throwing at us here.
Well, hopefully you caught the graphic.
Treat your trees well. Great job. Thanks, Adele.
Great job. Thank you, Adele.
Appreciate
Thank
it. Here we go now, as promised, with our CBB Community Bulletin Board file on Wednesday, March 27 at 7 in the evening. The Artisphere will screen a documentary about civil rights activist with ties to Arlington, an ordinary hero. The true story of Joan Mulholland looks at the life of Arlington native Joan Trumpower Mulholland, who became a civil rights activist and joined the freedom rides in the South in the 60s. She was imprisoned and assaulted for her work. At the time, she later taught for almost 3 decades in Arlington's public schools. After screening of this film, there'll be a panel discussion with Ms. Mulholland and the film's writer-director. The program is FREE free, and the community is invited to attend. For more information, give them a call, 703-228-6321. Daniel.
Well, coming later this spring and summer, Roslyn's annual Outdoor Film Festival will start up. This year's theme is Summer School, and they'll screen 16 well-known high school movies, including the 80s hit film, The Breakfast Club. The movies will run on Friday nights from May the 17th to August the 30th in Roslyn's Gateway Park. The theme of last year's Roslyn Film Fest was Election Night. The Breakfast Club, correct?
That's a good program.
That's
yeah,
great,
the
yeah.
Breakfast Club, I think, with 16 candles. They're also running Grease. That's a great lineup. So get out there and check out
Absolutely,
those
yeah.
summer films under the stars. All right. Well, in March, your kids can rent a toy from the library. The American Girl is a popular doll that can cost up to $110. Don't lose hope, however. Starting this month, anyone with an Arlington County Library card can sign up to borrow one of the 8 American Girl dolls for about a week. County libraries are hosting several free kickoff parties for the lending program. Have your parents ask for more information. The Friends of the Arlington Public Library bought 8 dolls, and librarians have prepared kits to accompany each doll, including a summary of Arlington history related to the time period of each doll. Visit library.arlingtonva.us, American Girl, for more details. That sounds like a great program. And Daniel and I will be back with our News for Seniors file right after we hear from our man about town for theater, the arts, and a whole lot more. Mr. Rich Misabi.
Hey, Rich, how are you?
Thank you, boys. Thank you. Thank you. On Friday, the 15th, I got an education from kids 16 to 18 years old from high schools around the area, hosted and sponsored by DeVry University's Her World program. Serves to inspire young students, girl students, to follow STEM career fields. STEM stands for careers in science, technology, engineering, and math. Yes, stuff guys usually do. One female student out of New York, Her World event, because DeVry's all over the country, that a male can do, if a male can do it, I can do it better. I like that spirit. In this area, the Crystal City campus is at 2450 Crystal Drive in Arlington, headed by DeVry President Loretta Franklin. The director of community outreach was sort of running and organizing this show on the 15th is Jennifer Cadman, and they held this at the Fairlington the Fairlington Community Center in Alexandria. For more information on this really important stuff, contact Ms. Cadman at 703-414-4058 or see their website, www.devry, You see it on the screen. Across the country now, more than 7,500 young women participated in this Her World event a year ago. So it's really picking up. It's worthwhile, and I'm glad to see the ladies are trying to catch up with us. They'll probably beat us anyway. As so many operas, sadness and unfulfilled desires are the dreams of the two main characters in this opera, starring stars of Riccardo Zanzoni's Francesca di Rimini. Francesca, played by Eva Marie Westbrook, and the man she loves, her brother-in-law, Paolo, is played by Marcello Giordano. The husband, Malastino, and the bad brother make for an interesting show. Keep up watching what's going on at the Metropolitan Opera. They do good stuff, and it's over here at the Regal Theaters in Boston. And finally, the well-known Italian restaurant Trattoria del Franco has been an institution in Old Town for years, both for cuisine and opera night. Until recently owned by its creator, Franco, a smooth and friendly transition took place the beginning of the year with owners Ileana and Bob Schmick. Happily, nothing changed, with Chef Juan still there in charge of the kitchen, old favorites Bob Smith on the piano, and opera singer tenor Michael Blaney. The first dish I had to try to check, I always check the Italian recipe, veal parmesan. It was wonderful. These people really, the Schmicks are dedicated to really pleasing the customers. It's not just words. Leanna and Bob, there's old world quality about these two. Try Trattoria da Franco. Trattoria da Franco. Call 703-548-9338. See the website, trattoria-da-franco.com. The address is 305 South Washington Street in Old Town. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rich.
All right, good job, Rich. We appreciate all your info.
Absolutely.
And Bob Smith's still playing piano out there.
Yeah,
somewhere amazing.
that's right.
Remember him from American Legion Post 139 over here.
After a 32-year career in the Army.
In the Army
32
Band, that's
years.
right. All right, good job. Appreciate it. Thanks, Rich. Here we go with our News for Seniors file. Got my News for Seniors specs on, and here we go on Tuesday, March 26th. At 7 in the evening, nutrition expert Katie Strong from the Virginia Cooperative Extension Office will discuss vegan and vegetarian diets. The program is being held at Walter Reed Senior Center for those that are just getting into or starting to follow a vegan-vegetarian diet. Katie will explain how to get started to ensure proper nutritional balance in your diet. Her suggestions will also work well for those already following vegan and vegetarian diets. This is a free program. Call Walter Reed to register. Their number, 703-228-0955. Daniel.
Well, there are opportunities for income-eligible seniors to qualify for home repairs and home safety improvements through a national nonprofit group called Rebuilding Together. To hear more about the program, join Patty Klein, Executive Director of Rebuilding Together, on Wednesday, that's March the 27th at 1:30 p.m. at Aurora Hills Senior Center. For more information and to register for this free program, call Aurora Hills at 703-228-5722.
And over at Culpeper Garden Senior Center, they're premiering a DVD with behind-the-scenes look at life inside the Vatican. That's taking place on Friday, March 29 at 1 in the afternoon. The DVD has rare footage of secret archives, private chapels, and papal quarters, plus interviews with Vatican officiates and historians who provide insight into the inner workings of the Vatican. Register early for this free program by calling Culpeper Garden Senior Center at 703-228-4403. Daniel.
Attorneys from Legal Services of Northern Virginia provide free counsel to seniors on a wide variety of issues such as consumer and housing laws, Social Security and Medicare, and more. For confidential appointments, go on Tuesday, March the 26th, between 9:30 a.m. and 11:30 a.m. at the Langston Brown Senior Center. Give them a call at 703-228-6300. And once again, Craig, of course, we want to thank our own Judy Masami
Thanks,
of
Judy.
the Office of Senior Adult Programs for bringing us this information. Thank you so much, Judy, for your hard work and dedication.
Appreciate your help. Okay, wrapping up now on this edition of the Arlington Weekly News, doing double duty again tonight, is our man Rich Masabny and his guest Mary David. Here's Rich.
Hi, Rich Masabny. And really, it's a thrill and an honor to talk to Mary David, sitting here next to me. Young lady, lawyer, who could be doing any old thing she wants, but she's sort of devoted a good portion of her life to stop sex trafficking. And one of our colleagues here, cameraman, he's not here today, Ken Briley, he told me maybe a month ago, even before he knew I was going to have Mary David on, he said, do you know Arlington County has a lot of sex trafficking going on?
It does.
And we didn't know that. I said, you got to be kidding. You're talking about the district? He said, no, here in Arlington. So this is very opportune to talk to you. And how did you get interested in this? Were you involved in sex trafficking yourself?
No, thankfully not.
No.
I met a number of victims when I was studying abroad in Cyprus, and I was often mistaken for a domestic worker, and through that I met a number of domestic workers who unfortunately had been trafficked into Cyprus. And after I heard their stories, I was very committed to the issue, came back to the United States and found out how prevalent it was here, and immediately knew that I wanted to devote my time to addressing it.
I had the pleasure of interviewing Mary David here, I don't know, a few months back at another station, and there was a gal named Stacy who told a story, and I guess this can happen. She's an intelligent, of course she was younger at the time, I don't know, maybe she was 21 or 2 or so at the time, and it was in the district and it was at night. And some old guy like me drove up and says, Miss, you shouldn't be outside at this hour like that, it's not safe. Come with me and I'll drive you, where you going?
And Stacy's story really highlights how traffickers don't look any particular way. They can be male, they can be female, they can be any age or ethnicity, and really that's how they are able to target so many different kinds of victims, because they scope them out ahead of time and look for a certain demographic that they can cater towards.
Now, you told me just before we went on the air that there's a task force back in coming up in May 23rd through the 25th in Nashville, Tennessee.
That's right.
The Trafficking in America.
Yes, the Trafficking in America Task Force is having their 3rd annual Trafficking in America Task Force Conference, and the event will bring together a number of different speakers to address the issue of modern-day slavery in America.
Give us an idea. I bet you there's a lot of people sitting out there. I didn't know about this. Can you put a number on it? How big is it in, say, Arlington, where we are?
Well, the problem with trying to put a number on trafficking is that these victims are unseen and largely cannot speak for themselves. They are, undercover, and it's really hard to pinpoint how many there are. I will say that there is a National Human Trafficking Resource Center hotline, and within Arlington alone, last year there were at least 30 calls that came in related to, cases specifically on human trafficking. But the numbers, they're overwhelming as far as the number of victims, not only within Arlington, but within Virginia generally speaking. And also, now that the District of Columbia has tightened some of their legislation on trafficking, but also has ramped up their investigations, more traffickers are coming into Virginia because it's an easier source.
Really? My goodness gracious. Now, let me see here. Mary David, J.D., she's a lawyer. Director of Public Relations for the Foundation for Post-Conflict Development.
Yes.
And there's a website that's www.postconflictdev.org.
Yes.
And then you got slash node, N-O-D-E,
Right.
23, slash again 23. Maybe we'll put that up on the screen, Jay. What is all that about? Postconflictdev.org slash NODE slash 23. What is all that?
Well, that's a longer link because that leads directly to my personal page on the website and has my biography, the different things that I've done while at the foundation, but then also just my background and work experience. The actual foundation itself, the main page, is www.postconflictdev.org.
Oh, okay. So you can leave out the rest.
Sure.
Does anybody ever contact you on your Twitter thing?
Yes, I do have followers on Twitter at Miss Mary David.
Okay.
And I post on a number of topics ranging from human trafficking related issues also to health and beauty, fitness, things that pertain to the exploitation of women and violence against women, because those are issues that I'm very passionate about.
You know, you could go on in your pretty way and not be concerned about any of this stuff. You've got a nice job somewhere in the government, and but yet you are concerned about this.
Well, I was fortunate enough to not be a victim of human trafficking, and with that blessing comes the burden to be an advocate for those who are faced with this horrible dilemma. Particularly when you meet someone who has been trafficked, it's just an issue that really touches you at your core. And you'll find, unlike many issues that there are within the government even, I mean, this is one that garners support on all sides. So we have advocates everywhere, which is great because it brings people together.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is, you know, such a repugnant thing. Think of sex trafficking, you know what I mean? If somebody doesn't want to get involved, for example, just say, no, I'm not interested, would they leave you alone? Like you said you were in Cyprus,
Right.
a pretty young girl. And if you said, leave me alone, they'd leave you alone, or they maybe force you into it?
Well, they can be very forceful. Traffickers, in most cases, they spend a lot of time developing a relationship with a potential victim.
I
So they will cultivate a relationship over months, trying to get the victim to trust them and to learn more about them so that they
gotcha.
can later manipulate and coerce them to do different things, sexual acts, or even into labor as well. Oftentimes family members are involved, which makes it even more difficult
What do
for
you
the
mean? How are the
victim.
family members of the girl being sex trafficked?
Yes, many times family members and a brother, a mom, you know, anyone within the family or a close family friend will actually traffic the victim themselves. So that can be either in the form of having a party and forcing their daughter to perform at the party, perform sexual acts, do a sexual
Any of these
dance.
girls get killed or die because of some of this gang rapes? That's what I call it.
They do. And,
do.
and they're often threatened by traffickers if they try to leave that other victims will be harmed in their place. So even if they do get away, they'll say, well, if you leave, then we will gang rape this girl who has been your support this whole time.
My God.
And then there becomes this sense of guilt or obligation to be there for the left behind victim.
Mary David, we have to close out this minute here, but is this an important thing, this website again, www.postconflictdev.org? Is that going to tell the
Yes.
story after we leave this segment here, people?
Well, the best resource would be to reach out to me on my fan page which is www.facebook.com/public.figure.marydavid, because I can directly interact with anyone
Okay,
who
I
has
don't know if they have it
questions.
back there in the control room or not. Say it one more time as we're closing out.
I believe they have it.
Oh, do they?
Yes.
Say it again while we're going out. Okay.
www.facebook.com/public.figure.marydavid.
Hey, thanks, Mary. Good to
Thank
see you as
you.
always. You're doing wonderful
Wonderful.
stuff. This is Rich Masabny. Back to the desk.
3, 2.
All right, thanks, Rich. And Mary David from the Post-Conflict Development Center.
About sex trafficking. And she said there's a lot going on in Arlington.
Nasty stuff. Well, it's good to bring that to the light, and hopefully they can do some things to stop it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rich. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I guess that's about a wrap for this edition of the Arlington Weekly News. Anything else to add before we go?
YouTube.com/Arlington Weekly News and
There
the
you go.
number 1.
Thanks, Danny.
And also on Facebook.
And on Facebook. So that's it. Next week, you be there, we'll be here, and we'll do it all again. Thanks for watching. Have a safe week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.